Hey y'all! Today we're going to be making this sweater right here. So if you'd like to learn how, just join us on this video. Okay, here are the colors I'm going to be using. I'm going to make sure I use up all these small little balls. And I'm going to start making this red and orange scrappy sweater. I'm so excited. Here we are with a hoodie that I have. This is one of my favorite hoodies. And I'm going to measure the size that you want to make your sweater. So what you do is you get your favorite hoodie or sweater or comfy shirt that is stretchy. Okay, it has to be something that's stretchy or it won't work out the same as the yarn. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, now I could not find my fabric measuring tape for anything. I'll probably find it an hour after I finish this video. That's how it usually works. So you're going to measure across the bottom of your thing. Now if you don't have one of these, you can use a yardstick, which I can't move up because of the lamp. So it's going to be the same measurement. It's right at 24, 25 inches. Now if you have neither of these, which I've already cut, you can take any tape that you want and you can stick it on straight on your sweater just so you can have the length. And then when you're crocheting, you just use this piece of tape to measure what you need, okay? So you do not have to have a fancy measuring tape. All you have to have is something that you can lay across and make sure you use that as your guide, okay? Now I'm going to split that in half right here on the tape for the 12-inch because I'm going to make this one a cardigan. This is the red sweater that we have been waiting for. There we go. There's your half-inch mark or your halfway mark, okay? So we've got 24 inches and we're going to make one panel for the back and two short panels for the front. This is how you measure it. Now when you measure your height of your sweater, we're going to do the same exact thing, except, except you're going to do it this way. Now this way you can see that you could still use the same piece of tape and just make it, you know, a little bit longer or as long as your hand longer, however long you want it. And you might only want it the same length. But if you want it even longer, you can just adjust that as you make your panels. Okay? I hope this explains how you figure out how to make it well enough. And that should work out for almost any sweater that you would like to make. Now I have made this one a smidgen shorter than the actual sweater, okay, than the actual hoodie. Because, you know, yarn stretches real good, and this one's kind of old, and it's probably stretched out a little bit, okay? So there you go. This is how you measure it. You don't have to have anything special to do this, and I just wanted to show you this, so I will come back with crocheting. Here we go on the red sweater. Okay, to make this sweater, we're going to use the G hook, which is a 4.25 millimeter. You'll need your scissors and your yarn needle to tie things off. We've taken our measurement, so we're going to start with that. I'm going to start with this very large light brown here. And I'm just going to do a slip knot. And we're going to start with a foundation single crochet, okay? So we're going to do 2. Go in the first one, pull through, grab and pull through 2. Go back into this one here, pull through 2. Go back in here, pull through 2. We're going to keep this up until we have the length of our measurement here, okay? Okay, here we have the length of the back all the way across the width, and then the 2 front side panels. So we have done the foundation crochet stitch for each of these panels on just the first row. This is a strapped sweater, so we're going to have different colors come in now. And as you go up, you're just going to tie it off, and then you're going to add the new color. So here we are finishing that last panel with the tan. And you've got your 3 panels started. You want to do this if you want them to all match exactly. So you do 1 row of each panel as you go. So off we go on crocheting. Okay, here we are slipped into the first panel that we're going to work on. And you want to make sure that you crochet with your yarn, not your tail. And you just slip it into this first stitch. Looks like I was having a little trouble there. And we're going to do 2 chains. Loop under. Go through the next stitch, grab the yarn, come through, and loop through all 3. So we're going to do a first row of half doubles. And here is up close of how to do that. Okay, you go through the stitch, you grab your yarn, pull it through, grab your yarn again, and pull through all 3. This is a very good beginner stitch, and it just looks a little different and a little more detailed and pretty than the single stitch. Not necessarily more pretty, but it's just a little more detail to your work when you add different stitches. So here we go with some half doubles, and we're going to make all 3 panels exactly the same. So let's go. Okay, here we have finished the red that we were working with, and we're going to start with some orange. I've already got the slip knot ready, and we are just going to continue working up our panel and making different stitches on each row. Sometimes I did the same and sometimes I did different. I will do a single, a half double, a double, and a triple. Those are the 4 stitches that we'll use in this sweater, and you can do any variation of those stitches if you like, however you want to do them with whichever color. Here we are doing a double, so you loop under the yarn, go through the stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. So this will be a half double, excuse me, and we will make all 3 panels exactly the same. So you can pause the video here and work on your next row if you like. Okay, here is a triple stitch row. You're going to loop under twice, go in the stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. I'm going to do it again. Pull through 2, and 2, and 2. Loop under twice, go through the hole, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. And we're going to do this for the whole row. Okay, here we're going to bring in a single row. So you're going to go right in this last stitch here, and you're going to chain, you're going to slip it on, chain 1, and then you're going to pull this tail back and go in each stitch with a single crochet, which is you go in, pull through, grab and pull through 2. And this is a single crochet. And so when you crochet into the top of it, you're just going to have that little bottom part. You can decide which stitches you want on each color and do all different kinds of stitches on this sweater. So I've used single, I've used half double, I've used double, and I've used triple. And it just depends on which row we're talking about as to what I've used. And this is a single row. And we're still working on the length of our panels. Once you get the width, you just keep going with your rows until you have the length. And these are coming right along. Okay, well, I love how these colors are turned out. You can use any color scheme that you want to use, any color combination, or you can actually do this all a solid color if you prefer. But I like using these small little balls and making it kind of like a scrap sweater. So there we are at the end. We're going to do our last stitch. And then we're going to cut that off, and that's the end of that row. Let's keep going. Okay, here we are with the panels coming right along. I just wanted to show y'all how this is working out. I'm not tying in any of the strings right now because I want to use those to put it together on the edging, okay? And this is probably a little over halfway, maybe only half. I don't know how long I'm going to make it. So if you are crocheting your panels, you've got 1 for the length across the top, across the back, and then you've got 2 that are half of that. And these are a little less, so I'm going to do a band vertically on these to be the closure that brings it together. And I think this is just perfect. I love it. And the other thing I wanted to show you is I'm doing alternate stitches. So I started off with the foundation single crochet, and then I did a half double. These are doubles. This is a single. So I've just switched between all of these, and I've also got a few of these triples. So I've got some triple stitches in here. And then I'm just going to keep going along with this. All you need is scrap yarn enough to make, you know, a row for each thing. And I'm bringing in the same colors here and there. I think these browns are the same. They might be different actually. So I've got the yellow in here twice and this color here. So that's basically what it is. It's scrap yarn, and this whole bucket of just all different little balls of different colors. So I just wanted to bring this into the video and show you how far I've gotten. This is a few days, a week. I don't know how long it's been actually. And I just crochet every chance I get, every time I sit down. I obviously don't record it all. I've only taken snippets here and there of sections. So I'm trying to keep y'all posted on the community post and the shorts as much as I can. So you can do that. Just give it some variety, and I think it brings interest to all these different colors, and it just makes it more interesting. Anyway, that is the progress I've made so far, and I hope yours is coming along. And if not, when you start watching this video, you can then start on your scrappy sweater for the fall. Okay, now that I got that next row, we are going to pick our next color. So basically, this is what I do. Just bring them all out and kind of figure out which one will look good next. And figure out, you know, where you've used it already, and if you've used it, and see which color it is. This one I don't think I've used, and it's kind of a mix between an orange and a red. It's an orangey red. Let that one go. Or maybe I should go with the brown again. My basket's rolling. I don't do this on the table every time, but I don't need the orange again. This orange spice, pumpkin spice. I don't need that one right now. And this one was the last orange I used. I'm not going to do that. This one is that one, so I'm not going to use that one. The yellow's too soon. So I think I am going to go ahead with this orangey red, because it will be the next color and I haven't even used it yet. So you just kind of play around with it and see what colors you want next. And I have a whole basket full of them there, so I'll probably have enough for 2 sweaters here at least. So there you go. I'm going to use this orangey red for the next color. Okay, well here we are. This is the hoodie that I used in the first video underneath. And I have the first back panel going all the way across. Now it goes out a little bit further than the panel itself, and so it's a little wider here, but that is okay because crochet is a little stretchy. And the front panels are complete all the way up. They're a little bit slim here, but I'm going to give it a little border at the end. So this is turning out just right, and today we're going to start sewing these in. Now when you sew this in, you're going to sew all the way across the shoulder, all the way across the shoulder, okay? So you're going to make sure those are even when you start that, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And we're also going to leave room for our sleeves to be attached. So we're going to stop about right here, okay? You have to make sure that it fits the sweater that you have, the hoodie that you have, or the shirt that you're making it like. You want it to be stretchy, but you don't want to cramp your armhole. So you want to make sure you give that plenty of room. And let's get started sewing this together. We are going to get started on sewing this shoulder piece together. And that is why we have all of this. We're going to start with these 2 pieces here. And I really do like the metal yarn needles because they work so much better for me. So right here we're going to take this piece off of the end. And I've got a piece on both ends of this one. So I've just got one here. What we're going to do is just match this up. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit and get a little closer. Okay, so we're just going to take this end piece and we are just going to go back and forth through here like this. Now you could crochet this together, or you can stitch it together, whichever one you prefer. I am going to stitch this one because that's how I stitch in all my strings. That's why I left them all there. And I'm just going to stitch all of them in when I sew it together. Because if you have this here, you can use this, you know, each color to do its own matching up on the side, and you don't have to look for the right color of yarn to sew it together, and you don't have to have a yarn that doesn't match. Now if you don't do that, you could crochet all the way down with one color, and I think that would look just fine. I've done several sweaters like that as well. So here we are, and I'm just going to sew this back and forth until there's no thread left. And it's going to just match right in on this color and disappear. Now you do have a right side and a wrong side to this because starting to get a little, just going to have to weave it in. You have a right side and a wrong side, and this is going to be my wrong side because I'm going to have kind of a seam here that kind of sticks up with a rib. So you will have a seam when you sew it. You can sew it where it's flat, but I don't think that's really very necessary. Now what I'm doing now is taking this other thread from the other end, and doing the same thing, but as you see, I only have a little space left, so I'm just gonna go right in here and sew this side together. And so far, with all the different sweaters I've made, I've never had one that came out. So this right here, just sewing these ends in, is normally plenty of yarn to reinforce it and make it stay together. Pretty soon I'm going to show a video of all the different sweaters I have made, so y'all can see all the different styles. But this is pretty secure. I've never had one come apart, so just so y'all know. We just sew it back and forth, and I've already crisscrossed that, so I'm just going to trim it off there. And I'm going to do that on this other edge, and then come back to you and go down the side a little bit. Okay, right here, I wanted to show you how my ends did not come together enough. So I'm having to use an extra piece of thread of yarn, and I'm just going to come back here and secure it a little in further back before I continue on. Whoops, sorry. I came back a little bit from the hole. This was not enough yarn on the ends that I left. I'm sorry, that's shaking. Wasn't enough yarn to do this entire length of the shoulder across. So I'm just going to come back with some thread, reinforcing it in about a couple of inches, and then I'm going to come through this little space here, and I'm probably just going to go all the way across because this is plenty of thread here. And then I can cut all those loose ends out. And that will close up our hole. So that's another thing. If you cut your ends pretty short and sew them in as you go, you can always just use a new piece of thread to close it up at the end. And that is no problem at all. So there we are with the shoulder. Okay, here we are with one side. This is where your armhole is going to be. And then I just kind of pull all the strings out so you know what you're dealing with, and you have them all on one side of the sweater. You want them as much as possible to be where you can get to them. So I just kind of pull them out. And this one here on this tan, there is no string, so they must both be on the other end. So there are times when you need to get some of the thread that you have and use it, because it doesn't always come out on the end that you need to sew it in. So we are going to start, and it was right around this brown one here where my armhole was. So I'm going to go right on this dark orange, and it does not even have a string. So we're going to go ahead and just use this red, because I don't mind that. There's enough red here, and there's enough brown. I could just go with the brown, and I'm going to thread this needle. I'm going to come up through the brown, through the orange here, and start at the top of this orange one, okay, and match them up on both sides together. And you're just gonna sew it in, and hopefully it doesn't pull out of the needle. There we go. And you don't want to grab the red threads, because you don't want to just bunch them up in there. You want to just sew all the way down from here. And with all these little short threads, you're going to have a lot of threads to sew in. This is not the fun part, but it's not too bad either. So basically, I'm going to continue this little project. I'm going to sew all of these in from this dark orange here all the way down, and then I'm going to do the other side as well. So I'm not going to show you all of that because that would take probably a few hours. So I will come back to you when I get this all put together. So here it is, all done. I love it. Here is the shoulder, and then not a very good angle. There's the side. It's all sewed up. I hope you have been working on your sweater and getting it done. This is a little awkward. Anyway, this is video part 1. There will be a second video coming out, and I will do the sleeves and the pockets and the banner on that one, and we're going to have a nice scrappy sweater for the fall. So I'm so glad y'all have joined me on this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.